What is up, guys? Welcome back. Today we're going to be doing some more Pierce's side missions. We're going to be doing Pierce's side missions. We got Fun Trumps All, then we got the Loyalty, but Pierce usually has two or three, so let's get started. Fun Trumps All, let's get started with Pierce. Oh, I did this wrong. Well, he's downstairs. Wait, I'm really level 40? Seriously? I'm so close to getting the upgrades I'm looking for. Alright, what you got, Pierce? Oh, what the hell? How to do it.
What's on your mind?
We've had some good times together, haven't we?
Hell yeah. Singing, shooting, running the country.
Want to add casual sex to that list?
I normally don't swing that way. Fuck it, I'm down.
Jesus. Alright, let's get down to business. Alright, what you got, Pierce?
Clearly, you're too tense and uptight right now. Dr. Pierce orders you to go out and have fun, blowing off some steam. Hey, don't argue, just go.
I suppose you're right.
Okay, straight, simple. Alright, how much more until I can get full pistol ammo? Only 10 more levels. Alright. I have no idea. Well, it's side quests. What else is gonna happen? We're reloading in. Okay, how many more shops are left? I know I haven't unlocked. Did I unlock them all? Nah, there's no way. Alright, we'll jump in here. Anyways, I want to talk about something a little more serious tonight, because it's got me thinking a lot lately, and that's the state of games, how some games have devolved, how the franchise is starting to devolve. No, this isn't true. Alright. You know, gaming has sort of devolved over the past, I would say, 5 to 7 years. Usually right around 2010, 2011, that's when I started introducing DLC as a connection to gaming. It's like, oh yeah, now we don't have to do the whole game, we could just take a chunk out of it and put it in DLC. And this has been going on for, like I said, about 5-7 years, really. And the big culprit for why this started is probably Bethesda, because Bethesda introduced DLC. Well, they didn't introduce it, but they were at the forefront of why it's successful. And I'm not blaming Bethesda in any way about it, because the first time I ever got to really touch DLC, that was quick. The first time I ever got to touch DLC was in Oblivion, and I loved it. I mean, it was just fun. Playing traffic.
This one should really get you to let loose. Trust me.
You know, the first time I really got to have fun with it was in Oblivion, which was the first real open world RPG I got to play. But anyways, what I liked about Oblivion was when you got done with the game, you had all this DLC. I mean, there was at least 10 packs of DLC, plus the most infamous horse armor ever, which was a cash grab. I will say it was, but what was interesting about it was it did not take away from the main game. I can't find a DLC that didn't take away from the main game. The only one that maybe comes close was Maroon's Razor, but even then, it really wasn't a big item. So, there it is. So really, after that, we had other games coming out that were doing DLC, and it varied. Like, some of it was really cash grabby. I mean, the bigger culprits were like Call of Duty not delivering all their maps, and they still do that. Let's face it, Treyarch and everybody who develops those games are just evil. But then in the 2011s, 12s, they started holding content back in favor of putting it out as DLC. And the big culprits on this one were, like I said, developers of Call of Duty. Mass Effect was very guilty of this. Even though I love Mass Effect, they did a lot of this on purpose. Let's face it, Mass Effect 2, you had to buy all the DLC to get the full story because it was connected to Mass Effect 3. But anyways, it started getting to the point where they started taking content out and putting it as DLC. And of course the reason for this was, and it's just evolved, and the reason for this is because games are expensive. I mean, making a game these days is not cheap. So to make up for it, they intentionally would leave stuff out, or they would put stuff to the side intentionally. And like I said, Activision and Battlefield, they introduced season passes, and Call of Duty hopped on board, and all these other companies hopped on board, and then every game got a season pass. And now it's escalated so badly that now every game that comes out these days has to have a season pass. It's almost a rule. I mean, the worst offenders are usually the first-person shooters because they know they can get away with it. And the worst, I think the worst of the worst out of all the offenders that I've seen that did this was Star Wars Battlefront. And that was almost, I would say that's the last straw for some people, was Battlefront. Because now it seems they're not going to introduce a season pass, which, thank God, I really don't want to see another Star Wars game with a season pass attached to it. But, and then it's just gotten worse, and companies are becoming shadier about it. They're like, oh, we're entitled to do this because it's our game, blah 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 blah. You know, usual bullshit. But it's starting to shift, and then when DLC was becoming less profitable, they started introducing microtransactions. So now you gotta deal with microtransactions as well as DLC. All because the game developers, you know, they need a better budget. So what's the solution to the problem? Well, I don't have a direct solution because it's not an easy thing to solve in a day, but I do have a few suggestions for the issue at hand. Now, the first one is multiplayer games. I'm not saying make more. I'm saying make them separate. I mean, let's face it, nobody plays a Call of Duty game anymore for the story. That's gone out the window a long time ago. I don't know anybody who plays it for the story. And if they say they're playing it for the story, they're lying. So the simple solution? Cut the game in half. If people want, and you know, a lot of people got shit. Titanfall got a lot of shit for just having a game and no story. Which admittedly was a new IP, so it should have a story. I mean, I was even pissed about it, and I bought it for $15. So the overall solution to the problem is cut these games in half. If you just want the multiplayer campaign, cut the price in half. Sell just the multiplayer digitally for $30. That way it's not that big of a ripoff. The people who just want the multiplayer could pay for just the multiplayer. And if you want the full game, then they sell the full retail version in stores and digitally. It's kind of like, it allows people to dip a toe into the digital when they haven't really done it. And hopefully it will diversify how you can play games.
If there's one thing I know that makes me feel better, it's killing Zen. Go try it.
Now, the difference in this, though, is if you split the margin, and for people who want the campaign and the multiplayer, you cannot do... If you do DLC, you can't cut shit out of the game. They're paying a full $60. They deserve all the content that was supposed to be in the game. And that's retail. I mean, digital, like I said, with retail and digital, it's getting trickier. They want to get rid of discs altogether because then you can't really tell what was supposed to be on the disc in the first place. And, well, I'm not going to put them down for wanting to go digital. I prefer digital myself. It's easier. That was quick.
Come on back. I want to see how relaxed you got it.
I think they need to come up with a simpler genres of games. I think microtransactions are slowly becoming a regular thing, which I don't like. I'm gonna change my character wardrobe a little bit. You know, it's starting to become a real thing, and it's a bit dodgy. I really don't like it. Ugh. What the hell, Uncle Sam? It's become more... There. It's become more of a problem. I think microtransactions, the best example of how microtransactions should be done is how they're doing it in GTA Online. Where you're not really paying, you're not paying for stuff that you couldn't get in the game. You can access it all, which is cool. No, it's not that way, it's this way. You know, you just have to earn the, you can either earn the cash or you buy the shark cards and you can get them, though I think that prices need to be adjusted slightly. Alright, let's see what Pierce has to say.
You still seem tense. I know Earth is gone, and that fucking sucks. But we can't let that get us down, right? Maybe try out something like this new Inflato Ray to take your mind off the bad things.
I do like new weapons.
The Inflato Ray. Fun gun. Alright, back to basics. Anyways. With microtransactions, keep it simple like that, to where you can buy the in-game currency, not something special like a separate currency system. Just make the currency trickier. I mean, make the currency about what it is on GTA. That's the best way to do microtransactions. As far as DLC goes, give us a goddamn story. I'd even say raise the damn retail price.
Maybe try going back to your roots this time. Go steal this vehicle I found for you.
You know, I at this point most gamers are paying $80 a game now. Because they're buying the game and they're buying the season pass in a bundle before they even know what the DLC is, because they don't want to be left behind. Instead, charge the game at $80 and don't do DLC. It's so simple. And when it comes to multiplayer games, split the difference. So those who want to just play the multiplayer can pay $30, and those who want to play the real game will pay $60. You'll probably make even more money than you... Great.
Serve the bugger right.
You'll probably make even more money than if you had just sold the game by itself at $60, because you're offering more solutions to the issue at hand. You're not just making people buy it at $60, because I know people who just play them for multiplayer, so just give them a multiplayer experience. Now the next big issue is cutting content for DLC. Don't cut content. Put it all in and plan out your if you want to do DLC to make make the extra cash, then plan out your DLC separate, but do not deviate from the main story. I'm talking about Mass Effect. I'm talking about how they did Mass Effect. I'm talking about how they did Fallout New Vegas. Let's face it, Fallout New Vegas, almost half the content was taken out of that game and put in the DLC because they mention all their DLC in the main game. I'm not kidding.
You know how to super jump, so why not put it to the test? Climb one of those big towers and I'll bet jumping off will be a blast.
So don't cut corners. Just give us what you want, what you plan to give us in the first place, and come up with better stuff in the long run. As for certain games like I don't know, let's look at what we have currently. I think games like Destiny, the Division, these long-term plan games where you want to have the game running for like 3-4 years with extended content, that's great. Do it. But don't throw microtransactions into something that is a AAA game. Now, I'm not saying it's a great game, I'm just saying it is a AAA.
Oh yeah!
So don't make us, don't make us work so hard for a AAA game when really we should be getting most, if not all, the content in it anyways. Just don't throw the microtransactions all over the place. Because you can. And give us... Now when it comes to franchises, I hate to say it, but we need to kill franchises. Mass Effect is the best example of this. Mass Effect Andromeda was a failure. I mean, it's still a little early, the jury's still a little out on it, but in my eyes, Mass Effect 3 was terrific. The trilogy was, yeah, let's face it, I mean, yeah, sure, the ending wasn't the best. But I think the franchise, I think it's time to let that franchise go. I was happy to see it end. I thought it ended in a very satisfying way. Even though the ending was a bit screwy, I still think it ended on a high note. So, keep your franchise, let it die. Halo should have died after part 3. Hell, Halo, I don't know how it got up to part 5, but Halo should have been dead for a long time now. Call of Duty, kill that shit. Alright, the tower's down. Ah, got them all.
Ha! Nothing like killing Zen to put a smile on your face.